Now the moving case we consider. Now moving case we are going to consider. Okay. See, in the case of a fixed vane, we are not going to get any work done. Work done is zero. Why? Because work done per second by the jet on the plate is given by hydrodynamic thrust multiplied by velocity of the plate, Fx into u. So please understand these terms, these expressions carefully. So Fx into u, that is going to be the work done, rate of work done, in fact, because you are multiplying not by the distance, but displacement per second. That is the velocity of the plate. So now in this case, there is no velocity of the plate. Plate is stationary, work done is zero, output power is zero. So efficiency is also zero. Even if there is input is, half m dot v square, it is half rho av into v square, half rho av cube. Just like in the case of flat vane, the very same expression, kinetic energy supplied by the jet. Okay, and here now we pass on to the next case where we can have fruitful power generation. In the earlier case, there is only force exertion, no work done, since the vane is not moving. Here the vane is moving and we are going to get the work done. So this is the x direction and orientation y is vertical, and in this orientation, when the jet strikes, the vane is displaced in the direction of the jet and away from the jet. Let the velocity of the vane or the blade, or what you can call it, curved plate, that is, let it be u, and the absolute velocity of the jet be v. And the diameter of the jet issued from the nozzle, we are talking about a cylindrical jet, diameter is d, area of cross section is A, that is area of cross section of the jet pi by 4 d square, and the rho is the fluid density. In this case, you are considering incompressible fluid, that is liquid jet. So now we'll consider the other aspects. When the jet strikes, the vane is moving with the velocity u. So the effective velocity with which the jet strikes, that's very important. That is, that collision or impact takes place at the relative velocity. Since v and u are in the same direction, the relative velocity is v minus u. So the effective velocity with which the jet strikes is v minus u. So V1x means what? The velocity of the impinging jet in the x direction before the impact, that is V1x. So that is v minus u in this case. And after deflection, the jet moves in this direction. See this in a 2D sketch, we can show like the deflected jet in the top and bottom. So v minus u, and for the resolution of velocity components, I have taken the bottom part. You can take any one part because the status of both will be the same. Any deflected jet, any portion of the deflected jet, the status will be the same, since the jet is striking at the center. So v minus u is the magnitude of deflected velocity, deflected jet also, because of our assumptions. See, I didn't tell you about the assumptions, and as I told in the previous class, throughout the topic impact of jet on vanes, we have these assumptions to make for our result to be valid. So assumptions, the surface of the curved vane in this case is perfectly smooth and frictionless, and there is no loss of kinetic energy due to shock, and the jet is providing, the jet which we are providing is steady. That means the mass flow rate provided by the jet is constant. So here the mass flow rate provided or supplied, that is rho into A into V. We know that, which we use to find out the kinetic energy supplied per second or input power. But mass flow rate striking in this case will be different. That means the entire mass flow rate supplied by the jet is not fully utilized, as the vane moves when the jet strikes. So in order to calculate the mass flow rate striking, we have to make use of the effective velocity with which the jet strikes the vane. So mass flow rate striking the plate is equal to rho A into V minus U. So in order to find out the hydrodynamic thrust or for the force calculation, we have to use this mass flow rate striking the plate. In the case of stationary vanes, both will be same. But in the case of moving vanes, the mass flow rate striking will be different from mass flow rate supplied. Mass flow rate striking will be less. So now applying Newton's second law of motion, we are familiar with these expressions. Fx, force exerted in the x direction, that is mass flow rate striking multiplied by change in velocity in x direction, that is dvx, m dot into dvx. So that is m dot into v1x minus v2x. v1x is the velocity of the incoming jet in the x direction, the striking jet just before impingement, which in our case is v minus u. And what about v2x? See, v2x is, if you consider the deflected jet, its magnitude is v minus u and the direction is this one. And the angle of deflection here is 180 minus theta. So that means the jet is turned through an angle equal to 180 minus theta. See, the inside angle here is theta and the outside here this much. This is the angle through which the jet is turned. So that is obviously this is an obtuse angle. So 180 minus theta. When theta becomes 0, this angle of deflection will be 180 degree. In that case, the jet will be deflected so that it goes in negative x direction after deflection. So it makes a complete U-turn that I told you in the previous class itself. So now this v minus u is the velocity of the deflected jet, magnitude of velocity, the direction is this one, and it is inclined at an angle. From the diagram you can see that it is inclined at an angle theta to the horizontal. Theta is this vane tip angle. Being a symmetrical vane with respect to the axis of symmetry, this vane tip angle is same everywhere, all points on the outside tip. So v minus u inclined at theta to the horizontal, therefore the horizontal component of the deflected jet, that means the component of the deflected jet velocity in the x direction is v minus u cos theta. But remember, it is directed in the negative x direction, so that we have to put a negative sign when we write the mathematical expression. So v2x, the velocity of the deflected jet in the x direction, is equal to minus v minus u cos theta. Remember, it is negative as it is directed towards the left. That means in the negative x direction. So v minus v minus u cos theta, that is the velocity of the deflected jet in the x direction, that is v2x. So you substitute over here mass flow rate striking the plate is rho a into v minus u, v1x is v minus u itself, and v2x is minus v minus u cos theta. This minus will become plus. So within the bracket you have now v minus u plus v minus u cos theta. So from the bracket what you can take, v minus u common. So outside you have one rho a into v minus u. So that v minus u now will be squared. So rho a into v minus u whole squared into, within bracket what remains is 1 plus cos theta. So fx is equal to, rho a v minus u whole squared into 1 plus cos theta is the force exerted. See, what is the difference between this expression when the plate is moving and the case when the plate is stationary? The same way. See, important thing to note is the velocity is reduced. Earlier it was rho a v square into 1 plus cos theta, where the hydrodynamic thrust is maximum. But now in this case, when the vane started moving, the force has become rho a into v minus u whole squared into 1 plus cos theta. So the velocity is now replaced by v minus, instead of v, now we have v minus u. So rho a into v minus u whole squared into 1 plus cos theta. So the expressions, the basic difference is the earlier expression, rho a v square into 1 plus cos theta when the plate is curved plate or curved vane is stationary, and in this case it is rho a into v minus u whole squared into 1 plus cos theta. Force is reduced. And now we can find out the work done in this case. The basic steps followed in each case is the same, because the work done always we find the force multiplied by the displacement in the direction of the force. So now since the jet is horizontal, the force exerted in the x direction, that is represented by Fx, hydrodynamic thrust in the x direction, Fx multiplied by the plate velocity u, that is in the x direction. So Fx into u, that is going to be the work done per second, displacement per second. That's why we say work done per second. So rate of work done or output power of the jet, that is equal to Fx into u. We are familiar with this expression already. Fx is given by this rho a into v minus u whole squared into 1 plus cos theta into cos theta, and that multiplied by u. That's all. And that much joule per second or watts, that is the output power of the jet or work done per second by the jet on the plate. This is equation number 2. And earlier the Fx hydrodynamic thrust, we mark it as 1. And now the input, we have to find out efficiency. So what is the input? Input, as in the previous cases, the expression is going to be the same. Even though the plate is moving, the mass flow rate issued by the jet is with velocity, absolute velocity v only, so that the kinetic energy supplied per second by the jet or input power supplied is half m dot v square. So that m dot is m dot supplied, mass flow rate supplied. So half rho a v into v square, half rho a v cube. Right from the beginning, we have been using the same expression, even for the flat plate also. So input power is half rho a v cube, and output power is given by the expression 2. This is expression 3 now, kinetic energy per second, and efficiency is now 2 by 3, that is work done per second by kinetic energy per second. Output power imparted by the jet divided by input power supplied. Output power, that is work done per second. Input power is kinetic energy per second issued by the jet. So if you substitute, you will get an expression. So rho a into v minus u whole square into 1 plus cos theta into u divided by half rho a v cube. So the basic difference between this expression of efficiency and the earlier one in the which we got in the case of flat vane with the jet striking normally a moving flat vane, the basic difference is this 1 plus cos theta. So the expression is going to be simple for you to derive. So efficiency of the jet or the vane in this case, rho a will be cancelled from both numerator and denominator. This 2 will go to the numerator, so you'll get 2 into v minus u whole squared into 1 plus cos theta into u divided by v cube. Let it be equation number 4. Now the real question is, just like we have done in the case of flat vane, what could be the condition for maximum efficiency in this case, and what is the value of maximum efficiency which you can achieve by using a symmetrical curved vane? So what is the condition for maximum efficiency in this case? That we will find out next. So in order to find out the condition for maximum efficiency, we take the help of differential calculus. So the condition to maximize the efficiency, or for eta max, we have derivative of efficiency with respect to the velocity of the plate, that is u d eta by du, and equate it to 0. So you have d eta by du is equal to 0. That from this you can optimize or maximize efficiency. So d by du of this efficiency expression. So 2 into v minus u whole squared into u into 1 plus cos theta by v cube, and then we equate that derivative to 0. In this case, you don't have to worry about this long expression, and v is not a variable in our case now. 1 plus cos theta is not a variable. So you can take 2 into 1 plus cos theta by v cube outside the derivative, because your variable now is u. With respect to u, you are differentiating with respect to the variable u now, velocity of the plate. So this expression 2 into 1 plus cos theta by v cube into d by du of v minus u whole square into u, that is equal to 0. And this the factor which we have taken out of the derivative, that is not equal to 0. So the product of these two terms is equal to 0 means if the first term is not equal to 0, obviously the second one is 0. So that d by du of v minus u whole squared into u is equal to 0. So what you can do is you can expand it, v minus u whole squared, and multiply by u. So what you can get is v square minus 2vu plus u square into u. Just expand it. This is the same as the expression we differentiated in the case of flat moving vane. So d by du of v square u minus 2v u square plus u cube is equal to 0. And you differentiate it. You differentiate this one now. V square is constant into derivative of u, that is v square itself, 2v u square. So 2v multiplied by derivative of u square with respect to u, that is 2u. So therefore, what you get is 2v into 2u, that is 4vu, plus u cube, the derivative is 3u square, and equated to 0. So v square minus 4vu plus 3u square, and this can be factorized by splitting the middle term. 4vu can be written as minus 3vu and minus 1vu. So v square minus 3vu minus 1vu plus 3u square is equal to 0. And the first two terms you take v common. You are familiar with this expression already. V into, from the first two terms, v can be taken out. V into v minus 3u. And the third and fourth term you can take minus u outside. So what will remain in the bracket will be v minus 3u. Remember, take care of this negative sign now. So v minus 3u is now common. V minus 3u into, within bracket now, v minus u will remain. So v minus 3u into v minus u is equal to 0. So v minus 3u is equal to 0 or v minus u is equal to 0. In fact, we are getting two conditions. And out of this, we can rule out this possibility, that is v minus u is equal to 0. That cannot be the condition for maximum efficiency, because when v is equal to u, v minus u is equal to 0 means v is equal to u. If v is equal to u, the work done per second will become 0. Because in the expression for work done you have v minus u whole square. Even the force exerted will become 0. The work done will become 0. Efficiency will become 0. So therefore, v is equal to u cannot be the condition for maximum efficiency. In fact, that will make that will reduce the efficiency to 0. So the condition for maximum efficiency in this case is v is equal to 3u. That is, velocity of the jet should be 3 times the velocity of the plate, or velocity of the plate is 1/3 of the absolute velocity of the jet. So u is equal to v by 3 or v is equal to 3u is the condition for maximum efficiency. That's an important result. This is exactly same as the one which we got for maximum efficiency in the case of flat moving vane when the jet strikes normally. Now substitute v is equal to 3u in the expression for efficiency in order to get maximum efficiency value. So eta is equal to 2 into v minus u whole squared into u into 1 plus cos theta by v cube. This is the expression for efficiency of the jet or efficiency of the vane, or we call it hydraulic efficiency. That is the expression for efficiency we obtained earlier. And in this, we are going to substitute v is equal to 3u. What is that condition? It is a condition for maximum efficiency. So when you substitute over here, replace v by the term 3u. So what you can get is 2 into 3u minus u whole square into u into 1 plus cos theta divided by denominator v cube. V is replaced by 3u. So 3u whole cube. So if you simplify it, what you can get is 8 u cube divided by 27 u cube into 1 plus cos theta. So that is u cube and u cube will be cancelled. So what you get is maximum hydraulic efficiency in this case is 8 by 27 into 1 plus cos theta. In the case of flat moving vane, we got 8 by 27 only. And in the case of the symmetrical curved vane, moving symmetrical curved vane, when the jet impinges at the center, we got 8 by 27 into 1 plus cos theta. So therefore, as theta varies, this maximum efficiency value which we may get also varies. So for what value of theta, this maximum efficiency expression gives the maximum numerical value. That is now the next question. So what value of theta the above expression gives the maximum numerical value, that we have to find out next. So what is that value? Just like we explained earlier in the case of hydrodynamic thrust and the work done per second output power, this as theta becomes 0, the angle of deflection of the jet will be 180 degree. See, this is the case. This is the jet when the angle theta, vane tip angle is a non-zero value. This is the diagram. And the jet strikes and gets deflected like this. Angle of deflection is 180 minus theta, and this inside angle is theta. You know this well. And now you consider the case when theta is 0. When theta is 0, so that means the vane becomes hemispherical. We explained already. Theta is 0, the vane will have hemispherical shape or semicircular in section. So when theta is equal to 0, angle of deflection is 180 minus theta, 180 minus 0, that is 180 degree. And then what will be the numerical value of this maximum efficiency? So eta max will be 8 by 27 into 1 plus cos theta, 8 by 27 into 1 plus cos 0. So that is cos 0 is 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 into 8 is 16, 16 by 27. And if you convert into decimal, it is 0.5926. In the case of flat moving vane, we got 8 by 27, that is 0.2963. If you convert this into percentage, you will get 59.26 percentage. In this case, maximum hydraulic efficiency. When you use a hemispherical vane, you will get 59.26, whereas if you use a flat moving vane, you will get only 29.63, less than 30%. Here just less than 60%. So for hemispherical single vane used for power extraction by the impact of jet, what you can get is maximum efficiency is 59.26. Remember, this 59.26 percentage of efficiency you can get for hemispherical vane. For other curved vanes, it matters. 8 by 27 into 1 plus cos theta. This is the expression you have to use for finding the hydraulic efficiency in the case of curved vanes. So the vane angle at the outlet tip, if you substitute over here, you will get the maximum efficiency which you can obtain in the respective cases. For hemispherical vane, this value is 59.26 percentage. And as we told in the case of flat moving vane, if you want to extract power continuously and consistently by using this method, the practical viability is an issue, or the method is not practically feasible, because you know that this case, as the jet strikes, the plate moves away from the jet, and we cannot sustain the jet horizontal for a longer distance. So therefore, we cannot continuously extract power using a single vane, whether it is flat or a curved one. Even though the curved vane, especially hemispherical one, gives the maximum efficiency of 59.26 percentage, we cannot generate power continuously. So now what is the next option? The next option, how we can make the power generation from these kind of veins like flat vein or curved vein, you know, possible, how to make the power extraction possible continuously. So for continuous power extraction from impact of jet on veins, you know, we make this kind of an arrangement. So what we do is the jet, if you fix a jet, fix the jet at some position and the jet is striking on a vein and that vein moves away and the next vein comes its place. When you use series of veins mounted on the periphery of a wheel, single flat vein ആണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതെങ്കിൽ കണ്ടിന്യൂസ് ആയിട്ട് പവർ എക്സ്ട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ കഴിയില്ലെങ്കിലും മാക്സിമം എഫിഷ്യൻസി കിട്ടുന്നത് 29.63% ആണ്. അത് ഹെമിസ്ഫെറിക്കൽ വെയിൻ ആണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതെങ്കിൽ സിംഗിൾ ഫ്ലാറ്റ് വെയിൻ സിംഗിൾ ഹെമിസ്ഫെറിക്കൽ വെയിൻ ആണ് പവർ എക്സ്ട്രാക്ഷൻ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതെങ്കിൽ maximum efficiency is 59.26%. But continuous power extraction difficulty, practical difficulty ഉള്ളതുകൊണ്ട് നമ്മൾ ഇപ്പോൾ ഇതാണ് അടുത്ത് കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. So നമ്മുടെ next important question is, we use series of curved veins fitted on the periphery of a wheel. And exactly the principle of hydraulic turbines, you know, this the same method, the same principle, you know, that is employed for hydraulic turbines. We use a wheel called a runner, and on the wheel we will be mounting a series of vanes, either radially or on the periphery, and different type of vanes are used, optimizing the efficiency. So here you consider flat vein, the simplest case. See, and if you consider a single vein and magnify it, the jet is striking like this, with the absolute velocity v, and the plate is then moving with a velocity u. See, important thing is that this wheel is able to rotate. So when the jet strikes and force is exerted, hydrodynamic thrust is exerted on the vein, and that vein that acts tangential to the wheel actually. So since that force is acting tangential to the wheel, a torque is exerted. And because of the torque, this wheel rotates. So the basic idea is that when one vein is moved or displaced, then the next vein will come to take its position. See, that is the remarkable thing. So the force is exerted, the vein moves away, the next vein takes its position, and this process continues. And the rotation, this rotation, so we can have uniform rotation in this case. We can consistently get the rotation of the wheel. That means the mechanical power is created. So we get mechanical power. Continuous power extraction is possible by using this kind of method. Then what could be the condition for maximum efficiency and the value of maximum efficiency in this case? Or even an expression for efficiency also we have to get, whether it is different from that of a single flat vein. See, these are the ideas. Mass flow rate striking, that is mass flow rate supplied, we know that is rho AV. But a very important thing is this one. The remarkable difference you have to keep in mind is mass flow rate striking also equal to mass flow rate supplied. You know why? Because when jet strikes one vein and that vein moves away, the next one, in no time, the next vein takes its position. So the jet is continuously hitting a vein in front of it. So one vein moves away, the next one takes its position, and the process continues. So therefore, every time the jet strikes with jet is capable of striking a vein in the same position, in the same vertical position. So that means the entire mass flow rate supplied by the jet is utilized. So that is very special about series of veins mounted on the wheel. So please note this one. Even though the vein is moving, the mass flow rate supplied will be same as mass flow rate striking. So rho AV itself. So the effective velocity with which the jet strikes, even though that is V minus U, the complete mass flow rate is utilized. See, the effective velocity with which the jet strikes, the relative velocity is V minus U even in this case, but the mass flow rate is fully utilized. So now we will consider the remaining part. What is the velocity of the plate? See, the velocity of the plate here is U, and that is actually the tangential velocity for the wheel, or peripheral velocity, or tangential velocity of the wheel, or velocity of the plate. You can say like that. That U for the, if you consider for the wheel, if the wheel is having the diameter D, capital D, because the diameter of the jet we take a small d, and area of the jet is capital A, density is rho, with all the usual 3 assumptions, and rho AV is the mass flow rate supplied and as well as mass flow rate striking in this case, even though the vane is moving, and rotational speed, the RPM, rotational speed of the wheel in RPM is n, let it be, and angular velocity is omega. You know that how omega and rotational speed are related. Omega is in radian per second, that is angular velocity, and now the wheel rotates in anti-clockwise direction, and omega is equal to 2 pi n by 60, where n is in RPM, rotational speed in RPM. You know it. And what about the tangential velocity? How is it related to the wheel diameter? If the wheel radius is say d by 2, wheel diameter is d, so radius capital R, let us say, so omega into capital R or omega into d by 2, that will be the tangential velocity of the wheel. So the velocity of the plate can be related to the tangential velocity or peripheral velocity of the wheel now. So omega into R, so omega into d by 2, and omega is 2 pi n by 60. 2 pi n by 60 into d by 2, 2 and 2 will be cancelled. You will get pi d n by 60. Hereafter, this is going to be very important. So whenever you have a vane and fixed on a wheel, the tangential velocity of the wheel or the velocity of the vane, velocity of the plate, see, that can be written as pi d n by 60. So you have to use that effective diameter, that's all. So pi d n by 60 meter per second, that is the tangential velocity or peripheral velocity of the wheel or velocity of the plate. For solving numerical problems and all, please keep this idea in mind. And now we will consider the force exerted in this case. What will be the change? You are familiar with all these already. See, this is the magnified view of a single plate over here, and the jet is striking normally. Jet is deflected through 90 degree, and this is the x direction. Therefore, force is hydrodynamic thrust in the x direction. That is tangential to the wheel, in fact. And that Fx, we want to find out what is V1x. See, V1x is V minus U only. The effective velocity with which the jet strikes, you know, since the plate is moving, so V minus U only. So V1x is V minus U. And what about V2x? V2, the jet is deflected through 90 degree, and deflected jet has the velocity in the y direction. So its x component, velocity of the deflected jet in the x direction, V2x is 0. We know it. And if you substitute over here by applying Newton's second law of motion to find out the force Fx, Fx is m dot into V1x minus V2x, and mass flow rate striking, already we said it is rho AV into V minus U minus 0. V1x is V minus U, V2x is 0, mass flow rate striking is rho AV. It is same as mass flow rate supplied. That is very special case of this one, whenever you use series of vanes fitted on the wheel. So the complete mass flow rate is utilized. Mass flow rate issued by the jet is fully utilized. Mass flow rate striking is also the same. So Fx is now rho AV into V minus U. See this? Rho AV into V minus U is the hydrodynamic thrust in this case. See, when series of flat vanes are used or mounted on the wheel, then the hydrodynamic thrust exerted is rho AV into V minus U. So instead of rho A into V minus U whole square that we obtained in the case of single flat vane, here it is rho A V into V minus U. Instead of rho A into V minus U whole square, here you have rho A V into V minus U. We have to consider the moving cases only. So single moving vane and single moving flat vane, and here series of flat vanes mounted on the wheel. Hydrodynamic thrust has increased. Now work done in this case. What is the work done? Expression is going to be the same. That is at Fx multiplied by U, the tangential velocity of the wheel or the velocity of the plate. That is U itself. How do we find out? That is pi dn by 60. What is that d? Diameter of the wheel, effective diameter of the wheel. And n is the rotational speed in RPM. Rotational speed of the wheel in RPM. So work done per second by the jet on the plate of the wheel, that is Fx into U. Fx is rho A V into V minus U into U. So this is the expression for the work done. Very important. So work done per second, this is the output power. And what about kinetic energy per second supplied? That is input power. How do we find out? It is exactly the same as before. Half m dot v square, that is half rho A V is the mass flow rate supplied, into v square, that is half rho A V cube. Absolutely no change. See, the force and the work done, they are different compared to the single moving vane cases. Okay. So work done and work done per second and kinetic energy per second. So we can find out the efficiency now. But remember, here you can call it efficiency of the jet or efficiency of the plate or efficiency of the wheel, because we are using a wheel for power generation. Series of vanes are fitted on the periphery of the wheel. So efficiency of the jet or plate or wheel or hydraulic efficiency, that is equal to the ratio of work done per second to the kinetic energy per second imparted by the jet. So work done per second we found out, that is rho A V into V minus U into U. Kinetic energy per second, that is given by expression C. Here I have numbered all these, that is half rho A V cube. That is kinetic energy per second. And efficiency, if you simplify it, you'll get a very simple expression now, because rho A in other than rho A, one V also will be cancelled from both numerator and denominator. So what you can get is 2 will go to the numerator. So 2 into V minus U into U divided by V square. That is rho A V is completely cancelled from both numerator and denominator. So the remaining expression, efficiency of the jet or efficiency of the plate or wheel, that is equal to 2 into V minus U into U by V square. Say that's equation D. See why I have written A, B, C, D, E, because here we are considering the jet strikes normally on a series of flat vanes mounted on the periphery of a wheel, and we have to find all these quantities. We found out force exerted by the jet on the vane, that is A part, and B part is work done per second by the jet on the wheel, that is output power, and the C part is kinetic energy per second supplied by the jet, that is input power. Efficiency of the jet or the wheel, so that also we found out. And now what is remaining is condition for maximum efficiency and the value of maximum efficiency. So the efficiency expression is this one, and condition for maximum efficiency now. So again the condition to maximize efficiency is the same. Derivative of efficiency with respect to U, we will find out and equate it to 0. So d by du of this expression 2 into V minus U into U by V square, and equate that derivative to 0. And out of which, this variable is U only. So V is a constant and can be taken out of the derivative. So 2 by V square can be taken out. So what remains within the derivative is a very simple expression. What is that? V minus U into U only will remain. You open the bracket, it will be VU minus U square, and 2 by V square is not equal to 0. So the derivative of this part must be equal to 0. So d by du into VU minus U square is equal to 0. If you take the derivative VU, the derivative with respect to U is V only. Then U square, the derivative is minus 2U. So V minus 2U is equal to 0. So V is equal to 2U. So in the case of single flat vane, what we got is single flat moving vane, the condition for maximum efficiency is V is equal to 3U, but this time V is equal to 2U. So the absolute velocity of the jet should be twice the velocity of the plate or tangential velocity of the wheel to get maximum efficiency, or U is equal to V by 2. So that is velocity of the plate or tangential velocity of the wheel must be half of the absolute velocity of the jet in order to get maximum efficiency. So this is the condition for maximum efficiency. Please do remember this. Now if you substitute this value V is equal to 2U in the expression for efficiency given by equation D, you will get the maximum the numerical value of maximum efficiency. Okay, so eta max will be, what is that? You substitute V is equal to 2U. So 2 into 2U minus U into U divided by V square. V is replaced by 2U. So 2U whole square. So what you get is 2U square by 4U square. So you'll get 1 by 2. What is 1 by 2? 0.5. And if you multiply by 100 to convert it into percentage, you will get 50%. See, maximum hydraulic efficiency is 50% now. So if you use a single flat moving vane, then what you can get is 29.63. Now, if the same flat vane, if number of them, if you are mounting on the circumference of a wheel, the hydraulic efficiency has maximum hydraulic efficiency you can get is 50%. And that, when you will get that, when the jet velocity is twice the plate velocity or tangential velocity of the wheel multiplied by 2, that is equal to the velocity of the jet. When this condition is fulfilled, then you'll get maximum hydraulic efficiency from this power extraction process.